Hey, everybody. Online report. Today's guest, you know him. He is Hunter Labrada. He is just days away. I think as we speak, I think it's 18 days.
17. Yeah, from prejudging.
Yeah, we're speaking on Tuesday, December 1st. This probably won't be up for a couple days, but coming right up. Hunter Labrada, welcome back. We haven't talked since, I looked it up, June 3rd was the last one of these we did. So it's been a minute. Yeah.
That was like right before Tampa, huh?
August 1st was your pro debut in Tampa. You won that. One of the few shows that's supposed to be in Florida that was in Florida. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, Florida's turned into quite the IFBB bubble this year.
Question, back then, I want to know, I was already thinking back then, they'll probably end up moving the Olympia to Florida. Were you thinking that far back too?
Yeah, I was, especially, just with like the political atmosphere we have right now, with it being, so starkly contrasting whether it stays blue or red. I really felt like it was probably going to end up somewhere where it was a little bit more lax. And, sure enough, it did. That being said, you just after seeing how this year shaped up, you should have been ready for anything. You should not have been surprised that it got moved.
We're all going to Antarctica for the Olympia. Antarctica.
Right. Socially distanced with the penguins.
Yeah, Governor Ron DeSantis doing a great job down there in Florida. But let's get back to this has been a long year of prep. So you started, your original goal was to compete in the New York Pro, which should have happened in May in New York. So you started prepping this year when? Back in February?
I started prep February 1st this year.
February 1st, okay. So did you go straight through all the way to August 1st, or were there a couple breaks in the prep?
So we started August 1st. Everything was absolute full bore till we found out that New York got moved. I found out it got moved at 5.5 weeks out from the original date. And then, at that point, I wasn't going to have a show this year, so I was ahead of schedule at 5.5 weeks out. So basically for a good month, while we kind of waited to see where the chips were going to fall, because I don't know if you remember or not, but New York ended up happening on like the third date it was supposed to happen. Because the second date, I was still going to try and make good on saying, because I always wanted to do New York for my pro debut. So I was still trying to make good on that for when I was at its second date. So the second date got announced, and, in the meantime, I had been eating Five Guys pretty much every other day. Like, really and truly, I joke about it. I was 100% with my cardio, 100% with the training, 100% with everything. It's just every other day for meal 5, we did 5 Guys and fries, So caught a good rebound from that. Definitely put on some quality size. I'll tell anyone that asks, as long as this year has been, and, it really is starting to get to me, I'm not going to lie to you. It couldn't have been better for my bodybuilding. The shows getting moved and the little rebounds that it afforded, and just the focus that comes with being on, truly being on prep for as long as I have. I really feel like I've made, leaps and bounds progress this year. So it's been good.
Yeah, I mean, just theoretically, you were definitely bigger. I think you were bigger at Tampa than you would have been in New York if New York had originally happened when it was supposed to back in May.
I'm so much better in Tampa than I was going to be in New York that I actually have said to some close to me that it might not have gone the way that it did had it been the original date. Because I looking at pictures, of where when the plug got pulled at 5.5 out from the original New York date versus what I looked at like from 5.5 out from Tampa, or actually at Tampa, it looks like a year or two's worth of progress, not 6 months.
Wow. And I'm trying to think. I don't know who was originally who else was originally planning on New York that would have given you trouble. Was there anybody that was on your radar back then?
Ian had talked about doing it. I know John De La Rosa was planning on doing it. I don't know what other of the Northeast guys were planning on doing it. I know a lot of them typically show up for that show, but in my mind, that's like the third biggest show in bodybuilding. So there's going to be big names at it. Evan Santapani was going to do it.
That's right, Evan.
So I'm disappointed I didn't get to see him on stage. I'm a huge fan of his. So both as a human and a bodybuilder, and I can't say that about everyone.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the few guys that I don't know anyone that has anything bad to say about Evan. Him, like John Meadows, you can count them on one hand in the industry, probably. The people that Hunter Labrada, there's just a few guys that you can't say anything bad about. Everybody loves them because they're great guys. So getting back to that, August 1st. So you had, let's see, how much time between? How many weeks was there between Tampa and the Olympia?
I want to say it was 23 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, because you had all of August, September, October, November, and most of December, about a little more than half of December. So, yeah, 4.5 months.
Yeah, like 18 weeks. Yeah, 18, 19 weeks actually, now to say that. But yeah, so.
Oh, I have to go back to the Five Guys thing just because I know a ton of people eat at Five Guys, especially bodybuilders. It's inexpensive. They give you a big buck bet. The fries, it's like a
Man, I
bag.
wouldn't go so far as to call it inexpensive. As far as fast food goes, it's kind of expensive for me at least.
Yeah.
You know, by the
Well,
time I get out of there, because I'll
compared
do
to
it.
McDonald's, it is. Yeah.
Compared to McDonald's, you're absolutely right. But what are you eating if you're only paying like $1 for a cheeseburger? Chances are.
So, what's the
That's why I
order?
like Five Guys. I don't know. I'm a big. This isn't like a Five Guys plug. If they want to reach out, I'll plug them every interview I do. You know, but I just like it because it tastes fresh and it digests well. You know, it's like the meal I get from there is like legit like 1,800 to 2,000 calories, and I'm ready to eat my next meal 3 hours later, and I
Wow.
don't feel like death after I get done eating it. You know, so that says something about the food quality to me. I know it's fried. I know it's greasy. It's just, you know, maybe it's not as processed. Who knows? I know their fries are super fresh.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, I think all Five Guys are the same. You can see the potatoes all over the
Yeah,
place.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They have nowhere to put all the damn potatoes. They're like stacked everywhere behind the counter. So I'm trying to ask for everyone out there who's a Five Guys fan, if they want to eat like Hunter, what was your order every other day?
I would get a bacon cheeseburger with an extra slice of cheese and an extra patty, so it'd be like a triple with bacon.
Nice.
And then I would get light lettuce, grilled onions, and alternate between getting grilled jalapenos and no grilled jalapenos. And then I'd get a regular fry, and then I would get, they have really good hot dogs there. I'd actually get a hot dog with grilled onions and cheese on it too. And that'd be the meal every other day.
Yeah. You know, because everyone who follows you on social media knows you didn't get out of shape in the least. So, you know, do you think when you were on prep that long, you're maintaining such a low body fat for so long, you actually kind of need something like that every other day, or else you'd start really flattening out and shrinking?
I do, and you know, I think your body starts freaking out, you know, both physically and mentally, you know, after a while too. You know, that being said, I'm one of those guys that honestly, you know, the last month is different. Everyone suffers the last month if they do it right. But outside of that, the off season is a lot harder for me than prep, just in terms of the discipline it takes to get all of the food down. I'm one of those guys with a really fast metabolism. You know, lose like, you know, 10 pounds in a week if I only eat when I'm hungry, kind of deal. So, yeah.
Okay. So you've had time to really process Tampa and all that. When you look at the pictures, the videos, what were you very pleased with, and what did you look at and say that can be better next time?
I was pleased with the size from the waist down.
Yeah.
I was pleased with how much improvement I had shown since nationals. I felt like I looked like a different bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Um, you know, outside of that, you know, I'm pretty critical of myself. I still feel like I need a lot more size from the waist up, which I feel like I've added some since then. And then I definitely feel like I could have been, you know, a little harder, a little sharper, you know. So
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I would agree with all that. You know, because
that's typical bodybuilding response, though, right? I could have been harder. I could have been sharper.
well, you
Could
know,
have been bigger.
anybody who's like completely satisfied, they're done. They're all done. They're never going to get any better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the people that have all the yes men around them telling them, dude, bro, yeah, you should win the Olympia. Look at you. You know, didn't they got third call out at a pro show, but bro, you're Mr. Olympia right now. Anyway, um, so August 1st was the show. Did you take a little bit of time off training, let your diet slack just for a week or two? Did you do anything to let your body sort of recharge?
No, definitely, definitely. As far as training goes, I was back in the gym on, I think I landed and I did cardio just to get the water moving. And then, you know, the next day I was in the gym training push. But that's because, you know, training is the part that I love about this, especially training with food with the post show pumps looking like a science experiment. So, you know, I was back in the gym immediately just because that's what I love to do. As far as the diet goes, I ate probably for like 3 or 4 days. And then after that, we pulled it back in, and you know, I eat 6 meals a day, and we were at like five structured, you know, set meals, and then one free meal a day for a good, you know, month, and then started reining it back in and getting ready to start prep and getting digestion set.
Yeah, because obviously you're still on prep, but I know Andrew Vu is big on reverse dieting. Your coach
Yeah.
doesn't like his clients turning into big puffballs.
No point to turn into a big puffball, especially when there's like hardly any time between this show and the next one.
That's true. That's true. So I heard you say push. Are you on that split push pull legs?
I am on modified push pull leg split, so I actually do push pull arms legs, and the arm day came for several reasons. One was we were training push pull legs, and I was trying to deadlift every pull day and then squat every leg day, and it doesn't work that way. So the arm day got kind of added in as like an active rest day instead of going push pull off legs off, which I have done and I have grown well from it. But throw in the fact that I just had that shoulder fixed and the bicep fixed, and the arm day, the specialization was crucial. Hindsight's always 20/20, but my arms went from being like a good body part to a strong body part in the last year. So the arm day, is as resistant as I was to it at first. I was like, am I really going to the gym right now to do arms? Like, really?
Yeah.
At first, now I've drank the Kool-Aid. I enjoy it. It's good. And, I treat it, I don't treat it like it's a rest day, but, I walk in the gym knowing, okay, like, let's blast arms, and then, let's roll out and let's enjoy the fact, it's a less high impact day, especially in the off season. Right now, we're doing cardio and everything's pretty quick paced and posing and stuff. So not as much, but, off season, it basically is like an off day, just go get a pump.
Well, because I like to steal from the best, and this sounds intriguing, I'm going to keep bugging you about this. So push day is obviously chest, shoulders, triceps, right? Yeah.
The push day, we removed the tricep component from it, the isolated tricep component from it, because obviously it gets work when we press. We also do, when they've been out for a couple weeks, just because my elbows were angry, but we're doing weighted dips on the push day for the longest time, like probably close to a year. So we'd go, 1 compound, 1 isolation for chest, 1 compound, 1 isolation for delts, maybe 2 for delts, and then do those weighted dips, and then pretty much be the push workout. And then, pull day, every single pull day at the end, I've been doing those banded rack pulls that you see on Instagram. Pretty, like, literally I can count on my hands how many times I haven't done them in the last year on the pull day. And then, similar structure on that, 1, really isolated, vertical pull, 1 really isolated horizontal pull, 1, upper back musculature row of some kind, whether it be like a chest supported T-bar or a barbell row, and then those rack pulls.
Okay. So you don't do biceps on your pull day?
No, I do it on the arm day, the following day.
Okay. So you'll come in the day after all that back training and do biceps and triceps?
Correct.
Okay.
And, I really have, I know a lot of people say like, oh, well, my biceps, it's, I really have gotten to the point where my biceps aren't getting a ton of stimulation during my back training. I really have gotten pretty good at removing them from it.
Yeah. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You just said your arms have improved since you started doing this, right?
Tremendously so. And, the proof's also in the pudding that, my elbows and connective tissues remain relatively healthy, and, I'm recovered by the time it's time to train again. I'm never training, push with sore triceps, or I'm never like, holy crap, my biceps are tight, the day after back before I even get started training. It works for me for sure.
You just solved what's the biggest objection for most people that I talk to about push-pull legs is they don't want to do pull and legs back to back because they want to deadlift on back day and they want to squat on leg day. And that's really not, if you could do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Your lower back is going to be very, very upset with you very quickly.
Yeah, I'll take it one step farther for you, and I'll tell you what I do, and that is that on the leg day, it's a alternating quad focus and ham focus leg day. So we have it structured to where on the days that we aren't going to do the banded rack pulls, which, for me, it's such a priority, I just did them regardless. But for someone who's not like trying to bring up their back to the degree that I am, it's very easy to structure it to where you're doing those banded rack pulls on the training block where you have the hamstring day, so like the less CNS intensive leg day in the block when you're doing the banded rack pull. And the following week when you have the quad emphasis day, when you're doing your heavy hacks or your heavy safety squats or whatnot, you're not actually pulling on the back day. So it's pretty good at flip-flopping and keeping your body fresh. So that's, looking at it, from the 50,000 foot view, not looking at it through a single session or even a single training cycle, but the big picture. So
Yeah. I apologize to everyone out there because I could talk about training all freaking day with somebody like Hunter, because that's all I care more about training than I do drugs, nutrition. And I could talk about that, but training, I'm a geek with that stuff. So thank you. You just solved a couple problems.
I'm a hypertrophy nerd too. It's okay. I'll talk as much as you want.
Yeah, and it's funny how you say, people that aren't as focused on building their back as you are. Well, let me tell you, I don't see that many awesome backs out there. I don't. So more people should be more interested in building their back than they seem to be. Put it that way. Yeah. Anyway, back to you. So, what was there? Obviously, upper body was the focus since then. Arms have come up. Have you seen improvements in other areas that you were given any kind of critiques on after Tampa?
Definitely. Definitely. Obviously, the biggest one, we've been talking about it for a minute now, is my back. Had another, and I've said this in a couple interviews now. I'm still riding the wave of getting healthy from that surgery. I 100% believe that. And I really think I'm going to freak some people out this coming year whenever, after the dust settles from the Olympia and I give my body some time to relax and chill. Like, I think, when I hit that first off season, because I've yet to have a real full-blown long off season. The last full-blown long off season I had, it was 5 months long, and the first 3-4 months of it was spent getting back what I had lost from my surgery. So it's been a hot minute since I've been like, okay, let's grow for 5 months, So, yeah. And I still feel like I'm riding that wave of, like my shoulders healthy, my biceps healthy, and I can truly train the way that I want to. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. So here you are headed. Your second pro show is going to be the Mr. Olympia. Pretty damn great. This was also the scenario for your dad back in 1987. Gothenburg, Sweden was his Olympia debut. That was the year I started following bodybuilding, and I had that VHS tape. Do you have that show on tape or DVD or something? 87 Olympia?
I don't have it on VHS or tape. I do have the show that he won to qualify for his plaque sitting in my room, though. That right 87 Night of Champions.
Okay. Yeah. Just, the people out there they'll never see this again because bodybuilding used to be on TV. I think it was NBC or ABC did that special. I had taped it and I wore that tape out. Let me tell you, such a great show. And man, your dad, Rich Gaspari, Lee Haney, so many great athletes back then in the day. So as you head into the Olympia, your first Olympia, we're just days away now. What are some of the things going through your head as this is where your dad was? Let me do some math here. How many years ago was 1987? It was a long time ago. 33 years ago? Yeah.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah. So is it surreal to think that you're in the spot now where your dad was exactly 33 years ago?
Man, if I'm being completely honest with you, yes, it's surreal, but it's more so one of those things. Like the thing that I keep on getting stuck on is it's, we're finally coming, we're arriving at, the beginning of the end of the journey that I set out on, if you will. So many people want to ask about like how does it feel, about your dad? It's awesome, but from the standpoint like what's crossing my head like on the daily, and like what's going through my head when I'm on those stairs, or what's going through my head when I'm training. It's not, okay, yeah, you're following in Dad's footsteps, and it's super cool. It's okay, you've been working for the last decade for this, and you're 18 days away from doing it. So. Yeah. It's a pretty cool feeling, and I'm not saying that to discount the fact that obviously, my father did it 33 years ago. I think it's the coolest thing ever. I'll take the trivia one step farther for you. The last time the Olympia was in Orlando was 1991, and my dad actually competed in that show. Yeah. So it's very cool. It's a huge blessing, to be able to do it at the level that he did that, and to continue to carry the torch, if you will, for the family. But definitely in it for myself too.
Yeah, I mean, it should be about you because you're the pro now, and this is your time. And now I kind of feel bad because this is like, I know Sergio has gone through a lot of this because people always want to bring up his dad. If Arnold had a son that was competing now, I'm sure that's all he would hear about is your dad. And you've worked your butt off to get where you are right now. You're the one that's been doing the workouts, the meals.
And the last thing that I want to sound like is bitter in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I know. I
think it's the coolest thing ever that I get to do this with my dad at the level that we do it at, and that I'm a second generation both pro and Olympian like he was. I was just saying, as you asked, what's crossing through your head as you head into the show about it, and it's honestly that's not what's on my mind right now. That's all I meant by that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's understandable. But here's a question for you. Obviously, you use the Labrada nutrition line. What are the products that you've relied on the most during prep?
So during prep and during the off season, I'm a pretty huge whole foods person. So as far as supplements go, the only supplements that I'm really using right now, and in the off season from Labrada, our isolate, our isolate protein, and then some of our single standalone ingredient products, like our creatine and our glutamine and stuff. Our SKUs have been dramatically reduced, not because of anything bad, but because of something awesome actually, and that is that our lean body line, those ready to drink drinks and the ready to drink powders and the meal replacement powders have taken off and have grown at such like a rapid level at a mainstream level. So food, drug, and mass, like your Kroger's, your gas stations, this, that, and another. So it's just been a lot more focus placed in that in recent years. So that being said, towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, we're going to be back in the bodybuilding space, and I'm going to be the face of that. And I'm looking forward to being able to tell people more about that. But it's definitely going to be stuff you're used to seeing from Labrada, and that is very time tested, very efficacious formulas. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited that next time someone asks me that question sometime next year, I'll be able to say more than just our protein. But yeah, right now just our protein, and then obviously I'm with Revive MD as well, and they take care of all my health supplement needs. Between organ support, cardiovascular support, joint support, all that. So they do a great job. They take great care of me. So huge shout out to Revive as well.
Cool. One thing I'd like to get, if you don't mind sharing, is a day in the life. Like, what's your schedule as far as meals and workouts? You don't have to detail every little meal, but when do you start eating? When do you do your cardio? Because this is it. This is like home stretch for you now. You're just a couple weeks away from the show.
Definitely,
so how does it look?
Yeah. So the home stretch routine, I always call it that because like during prep, I'll go through like several iterations of a routine. Because at first I'm not doing any kind of cardio, and then at first I'm eating so much I just do like a carb shake post workout, and then as time goes on, I have to start doing cardio, and then I'm starting to eat a little enough that like no, I'm not going to drink those carbs. I'm going to make that food, and it goes on and on and on and on. So at the phase we're at right now, basically I'll wake up sometime like 7:30, 8 o'clock, get to the gym by 8:45, 9 o'clock, do 40 minutes on the stairs fasted, home and have breakfast in my stomach by 10. Kind of just handle whatever I need to handle for the morning between 10 and my next meal at noon. Whether it be running to the post office, mail stuff, or grocery store, or cooking food. It's just kind of like my errand time, or answer emails. Take care of whatever. And then typically meal 2, pre-workout meal, we'll do around noon. I like training at 1. Like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And gym for me, I'll be at the gym typically for about 3 hours.
Wow.
And I always say that, and I substantially quantify that. So
Yeah.
walk in, say hi to people. At the gyms I train at, people kind of know that I'm doing what I'm doing, so they're nice enough to leave me alone. But like when I get there, I'll make it a point to kind of say hi to everyone, so I'm not like just the gruff asshole walking around looking like a zombie the whole time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so get there, and I'll do a lot of bodybuilding yoga. That's what I call like rolling out and doing like mobility stuff and whatnot. Ever since I had my shoulder fixed, I've gotten hypersensitive to keeping my body in working order, because I saw how bad of a spot it put me in mentally and physically. I hadn't had that surgery and coming back from it. So if rolling around on the ground and digging myself with a ball and stretching and using rubber bands for 30 minutes a day keeps that from happening again, I'm going to do it. So,
Sure.
Between that and then warming up and whatnot, by the time I actually start moving a weight, from the time I walk into the gym, it's probably been like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, I'll train for about an hour and a half tops. And then, after I get done training, I'll get in trunks and we'll take post-training pictures, and I'll have my food with me there. I'll make my cream of rice at the gym, and I'll eat, and it's kind of chill. So, right now it's all about just, being as stress-free as possible. You know, I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be in the positions where this is what I do for a living, so I'm not having to, you know, like get it all done after work or something, you know, so I'm able to take my time and really relax and methodically plan the day, and I think that's really important, you know, especially the last couple of weeks, if it's in the cards for you. I know it's not in the cards for everyone, like I said, I know it's a blessing. But yeah, so that's pretty much the routine right now. We'll come home after that and, you know, eat 2 more times. Right now, the last 3 meals of the day are no carbs. It's just, you know, fish or chicken, ground sirloin or a steak, and then, you know, 2 cups of eggs and a scoop of whey. So nothing really exciting after training. So, you know, basically, you know, get done training, eat that bowl of cream of rice. Those are the last carbs for the day. And then it's, you know, try and keep myself busy as long as possible. And yeah.
Right on. Yeah. If I don't steal that phrase, somebody else is going to. Bodybuilding yoga. I love that. All the stretching and the foam rolling.
No,
Bodybuilding
that's
yoga.
what it is, man, for sure.
Yeah. But
Get yourself in some interesting positions trying to get that ball or foam roller in where you want it.
Yeah, well, I can, you know, I can tell people out there, I wish I had done more of that because I need a new shoulder. And man, if I had just taken a little time to do that kind of stuff. So I tell people, don't be in such a rush to get to the heavy weights.
All it takes is 30 days of it, because if you're consistent with it for 30 days and then stop, you'll feel like you got hit by a car and you will start doing it again.
Yeah. So
anytime I get lazy about it, I start feeling so bad.
Yeah, because you know, you feel better when you're doing all that. You feel more limber. Things get tight quickly when you stop doing that, I bet.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, the bigger you get, especially once you get to my size, you know, the body's not made to be this size. So joint spaces that were already, you know, pretty high tolerance become very high tolerance. You know, so you do have to pay attention to it, and you do have to be cognizant of it for sure.
So I saw, I've been looking at the progress pics and all that, of course, and thanks to Nick Del Toro, he's been giving me some other pics that.
Yeah, you get like the behind the scenes skinny from Nick.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Nick. Nick Del Toro. We love this guy. Doing good work out there. But you posted your morning weight now. Your fasted weight now is a few pounds heavier than you were at Tampa already. Am I right?
Yeah. So this morning I was 262 pounds, and Tampa I was 248 the morning of the show.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to take a wild guess. I'm going to predict that you're going to be up about 5-6 pounds quality muscle at the Olympia from where you were in Tampa. Do you think that's about accurate?
Yeah, so I always have the same canned response, and that is I hate putting numbers on things, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna sink or swim, you know, based off of how peeled I come in. So I'm not really concerned about the number. But yeah, if I had to call it, if I was 248 at Tampa, I see me, you know, somewhere, you know, 252 to 254 at the O for sure.
You know, everyone's obsessed with body weight in this sport. It's ridiculous. I know.
It's so ridiculous, especially because everyone lies about it. No one's actually honest about it.
Yeah, that's why the '88 Olympia, which your dad was also in, was the only Mr. Olympia where they had a public weigh-in, and everybody except for a couple people were way lighter than they claimed to be. Everybody. So that
the scale, though, right?
Yeah, that's why they don't do weigh-ins anymore.
Scale. The scale was off.
Yeah, it was all the scale. No, and some people were weighing in tracksuits and fanny packs and Air Jordans, and you know, because it's not like they had to make a weight. It didn't really matter. I was curious. Well, man, I know you're a very busy guy. You're probably a little bit tired, so I appreciate you taking the time very much, Hunter. Look forward to seeing you on the Olympia stage. Very, very impressed by what I saw in Tampa, and I know from the progress pictures, you're better now than you were then. So it's exciting. You know, who knows where the chips will fall? It's the Mr. Olympia. Anything can happen. People that we weren't expecting to do well could do very well. People that we thought were going to win or be in the top 3, you know, you never know what the Olympia things are.
I'm just looking forward to seeing where they fall, right?
Yeah, in Orlando, yeah, that was my first Olympia that I ever went to, was '91. So it's kind of a cool thing for me to go back there for the Olympia too. That was a cool show, let me tell you. Have you seen that video? Or you've seen the videos? Do you have that tape?
I have seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good production back in those days too. Not to say it's not now, but it was something special. I was 21 years old, man. It was magical. So cool. That's it. Hunter, thank you so much for taking the time. Very much look forward to seeing you on that Olympia stage. Good luck, sir, in these last critical couple weeks of prep. I know you're going to kill that prep and look awesome on stage. So that's it. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Ron. Always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Ronline Report with Hunter Labrada. You'll see him on stage at the Mr. Olympia. For pay-per-view information, go to MrOlympia.com. It's a great deal. It's only $59.95, and that covers amateur Olympia, judging and finals for all the pro divisions for the Olympia. It's a great deal. And if you can't get to Orlando, which I know a lot of you guys can't, get the pay-per-view, support the show. It's going to be an excellent production, so it's well worth the investment. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time.